Hello everybody, welcome to the last and final day of these series of videos. And today I wanted to start off with an interesting little challenge provided by HackTheBox. Well, not sponsored by, obviously, but I think it's an interesting view into what it actually looks like to try and hack a system. And so what HackTheBox does is it provides computers that you can legally hack. And it is more of as a training situations. Yeah, I'm still on the basics. They have free versions, which I am on the free, and then they have VIP versions, like right there, that you would have to pay for, but overall, a nice experience. And so I've already started it up. I am in a virtual machine, and it is just a operating system that has been virtualized and can be wiped if something goes awry. So it's very clean and easy to work with. And I'm also using a operating system called Kali Linux. Has a lot of useful tools. One we'll be using often is nmap. So let's go ahead and command. We'll see if we have connection to this IP to make sure that we are connecting to it. Yep. Alright. 64 bytes are being received. 7 received, 0 packet loss. That is good. That means we do have a connection with this IP. Alrighty. And I believe... Yeah. Okay. So I have done a certain amount towards it, but I have not gotten... I've only gotten but so far. So we'll see how this goes. When visiting the web service using the IP address, alright, let's go ahead and I'm pretty sure there's a, yeah, IP copied. Okay. Now let's say we're visiting this IP address. Problem loading page. What is the domain that we're being redirected to? Let me see. P. C. Oh, it might be. Nope. Might be an issue with how this resolves. Let's see. Is there a way that I can? Is there a different? Didn't think so. Let's see. Alright, sorry for the delay. I was trying to figure out what I was doing wrong, and I remember having issues with this previously, and it's just a matter of sudo nano. Nano is a text file editor, and host is all of the resolution. It's how 10.129.178.45. It's how it knows that address goes to unica.h2b. And so I believe I didn't do nano or sudo, which is just privilege escalation. It is the root access. It is with the most privileges. So you hit that and see this previously was not 10.129.178.45. It was something else. So I changed that, and I was wondering why it wouldn't let me save it. So you do Control X and just exit, and it would say like, "Are you sure you want to save it?" And then anyways, if you do sudo, it should work to save it. And now the host will resolve, and so we are brought with this page right here. And what is the domain that we are redirected to? unica.htb, which scripting language is being used on the server to generate web pages. Now, I do believe we have, yep, Wapalizer. This is just a browser extension that is able to read a lot of the metadata behind a website and see what scripting language, web servers, programming languages, operating system, UI. So it's able to gather a lot of that information and maybe even version history. So we have, looks like we're running Apache 2.4.52 on this one, and Apache does have some vulnerabilities, that sort of thing. So we're able to see without even having to find out ourselves. So what scripting language is being used on the server to generate web pages? Alright. Scripting language, I believe it was PHP. Font scripts, yep, programming language, PHP. And here you have PHP. What is the name of the URL parameter which is used to load different languages versions of the web page? Now we have French. Alright. French.html, is that what it was referencing to? Page. Ah, I see. Page. Which of the following values for the page parameter would be an example of exploiting a local file including LFI vulnerability French.html blah 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 blah. Okay, so what this one is asking for is, because this page is saying page equals French.html, that means that page, this page right here, is being stored for for its different languages, are being stored locally on the server, and that can have some vulnerabilities associated with it. And it's asking which of these would be considered a method of exploitation, would be an example of exploiting. Okay, so let's go ahead and instead of this page right here, we'll do that. Let's see. Did I do it right? It's like this. Okay. Okay, here, let me try this. Let's update the page, not that. Backtrack here. Not like that. There we go. And then again, French. So we have this page again. Page equals. That's where I messed up. Stop recording. There we go. This sample host file used by Microsoft TCP/IP for Windows. This file contains the mapping of IP addresses. Basically, we are seeing things that we should not be able to see here on this page. Okay. So because of that, we do know that this right here is the answer, even though it gave a very obvious hint that showed that it is what we're looking for. But anyways, which following values for the page parameter would be an example of exploiting a remote file include RFI vulnerability? Which of the following? So it looks like this one will. Okay, and so what this is asking for is you have up here where it says a local file include, and that is where, like we were saying, the French page for that is stored locally. But what if we want to try and reach out to another IP, 10.10.14.6, and try and pull something from that? That would be another form of a vulnerability as well. So that's just showing you the two different options for a remote or a local exploit. What does NTLM stand for? New Technology Line Manager. Okay, and so what it looks like NTLM is, it is a Windows New Technology LAN Manager, a suite of security protocols offered by Microsoft to authenticate users' identity and protect the integrity and confidentiality of their activity. So at its core, it is simply a security measure on Windows operating systems and machines to provide an extra level of security and to ensure you are who you say you are. Alright, and so which flag do we use in the responder utility to specify the network interface? Let's see, I have up here. So basically what I did here was I had up to here and an ls to list all the available files and folders. And I saw here responder, so I changed to that directory. Responder. And just as a note, it is a little bit more complicated if you want to change files in, you can do it like as a GUI, but on Linux, in a command line, it can be a little bit different. That's why it's looking like this. But responder-HH, which gives us the helpline, and we see here, where is it? There we go. The Ethernet 0 interface. And that is our network interface. So what was that, dash I? Yes, dash I. Alrighty, now there are several tools that take a net NTLM v2 challenge response and try millions of passwords to see if any of them generate the same response. One such tool is often referred to as John, but the full name is what? John the Ripper. And what John the Ripper is it will take a hash that you have of a password, which is often how passwords are stored on websites and anything like that. If you give something your password, it creates what's called a hash, and that hash is a numerical value that represents your password. So it is no longer stored as a plain text, it is stored as a hash and is not viewable there. And any very minor change to it, if you add one letter, it makes a completely different hash. But if I had a password, two passwords that are the same will have the same hash. There are different methods to create sort of variations in that, which hash and salt. The salt is like added random bits of letters randomly generated throughout the hash so that they are truly unique. But if it's just using hash, then John the Ripper will be able to decrypt it by searching through either through commonly used words, dictionaries, stuff like that, to try and compare the hash of those words found in the dictionary to the password hash that it has found. What is the password for the administrator user? I have no clue. Hang on one. So let's see. Now that we have the dash I, let's see if we can do responder dash dash I and do ton 0, which is tunnel 0, and it is just the connection that we have to the responder interface. Let's see. Sudo responder dash I ton 0. So here we have our responder IP, and we'll go ahead and copy that. Oop. Copy selection. Now let's see, and so what this will be doing is we can go to this website now and type in this IP address, and that will send it. It'll try and retrieve information from that IP, which is our IP right here. And whenever it does send information, whenever it tries to retrieve information, it'll do an exchange with our IP, and we'll be able to pick up, because we're listening, as you can see here, we're listening for those events and seeing what it will tell us. So let's go ahead and go over here. Equals dash dash RIP, which is that one, slash 8-bit guy. 8-bit guy. Warning, include, failed to open stream, permission denied, failed opening for inclusion, blah blah blah. So now let's see what responder picked up for us. See, it has now picked up listening for events, responder, SSP client. Now it has a hash for this right here. So now what we'll want to do is to vi hash 4.txt. Let's see if, so let's go and suspended, blah blah. Okay. Let's take all this right here. Copy vi hashes 2, and we'll paste. Okay, I see where I messed up. So this was saved to the responder file, and I was trying to save it to something else. That was my bad. So now that we have this, so what I have done is I've just told John, the Ripper program, to read the responder file and this file right here, and decrypt or dehash or compare hashes, this hash right here, to known hashes. This will probably take a while depending on what databases it uses. There are many options for it to be able to hasten the process, but we're just did it as normal. So it took forever for it to try and crack the password, upwards of 20 minutes, so I was just going to, it's probably because I am on a virtual machine, I have given it very little resources to actually work with, and so because it is trying to utilize the full limit of my resources available, it is bottlenecking what it can do. So I do have the password. It was badminton right here. And so we'll just continue on with the rest of the exercise just for the sake of my time and yours. So let's see. And so now that we do have that password, we can use a program called EvilWinRM, and it'll be able to connect to that IP address and can use any Microsoft Windows servers with this feature enabled. It uses that feature in TLM. It basically uses it against itself. So I've already got it running. And so now I just ran evil WinRM, the IP address of the target, the administrator username, and the password. And so now we are connected to that server as the admin, and we are in the PowerShell currently. So let's see. List. There we go. cd ... is what I needed to do. So let's do ls. We have several files: 3D object, contacts, desktop, documents, downloads, OneDrive pictures, saved, games, videos. And so now we can just start browsing around to see, let's see, what is on the desktop. ls. Doesn't look like anything is on the desktop. Let's do cd ... cd documents. Nothing here. Nothing here. cd ... Let's do pictures. Let's do saved games, just because it kind of is an outlier here. Let's do cd saved games. Position games. So it doesn't look like anything is out of the ordinary here, so let's look in the CD. There we go, now we're in the general users. Now let's see who's all here. Admin, public, and Mike. So let's look at Mike. Mike, ls. Desktop, we just have the desktop. Desktop. ls, and there is our flag text. Now let's see. Cat flag.txt, and if you've seen me use cat, it just means, I believe it means concatenate, and concatenate is just a way of saying read what's in this file and display it. See, that's our flag, and that is just a hash of, and it's a flag because this is commonly referred to as capture the flag, where we try and infiltrate a system and capture some sort of proof that we have found that flag. So now that we have that, I forgot to do this one. Let's see, we'll use, what does it say? Alright, and now let's copy or paste our flag. Success. We'll be terminated. There we go. Now if you do have any questions, leave comments in the comment section. I am just starting out, but I'll try to answer them as thoroughly as possible. Thank you.